So what comes to mind when you guys think of Planned Parenthood? If you're thinking like I was before I did my research for this speech, your mind probably goes towards some stereotypes that are typically surrounded around Planned Parenthood involving maybe abortion or teen pregnancy. However, after doing my research for this speech, not only do I have an increased support for the organization, I've also learned that the services they provide go so far beyond the stereotypes would lead us to believe. For example, Planned Parenthood states that their health centers provide service to 2.5 million patients in a single year. In doing this, they provide 4 million tests and treatments for STDs, 360,000 breast examinations to prevent and detect breast cancer, as well as 270,000 Pap tests to prevent and detect cervical cancer. Regardless of these facts, many politicians are trying to get federal funding removed from Planned Parenthood because their centers provide abortion services. Leading this movement is our Vice President Mike Pence, who said in his Life is Winning speech earlier this year in January that he will work with Congress to end taxpayer funding of abortion providers, including Planned Parenthood. However, according to both NPR and Planned Parenthood themselves, these services are only 3% of the total services that Planned Parenthood provides. In addition to this, and this is very important because I don't think many people know this, it is already federal law that Planned Parenthood can't use federal funding to go towards abortion services. So with that being said, if Planned Parenthood is defunded, the abortion services won't really be affected. Rather, millions of Americans will lose access to cancer screenings, STD tests, and more. For this reason, we ought to take a stand against this defunding and support Planned Parenthood. So what will happen if Planned Parenthood is defunded? Well, for one thing, millions of Americans will lose access to STD tests and treatments, which at 42%, according to this graph from Planned Parenthood in 2014, is the largest aspect of the services that they provide. This is especially important considering recent numbers in HIV diagnoses in America. While HIV diagnoses seem to be dropping in America, especially amongst heterosexual adults, the biggest problem lies within teens. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, diagnoses of HIV amongst teens has risen 87% since 2005. And even with the services that Planned Parenthood provides, 60% of teens who are affected by HIV don't even know it. This is likely attributed to a lack of sexual education on STDs, as well as a lack of testing. The only way to really know that you're safe from an STD is to get frequent testing, which is a service that Planned Parenthood provides in a very safe and affordable way. So if the number of those who are affected and aren't even aware of it now is this high, one can only imagine how it will grow if Planned Parenthood services are removed. In addition to this, many Americans will lose affordable and safe health care. According to Planned Parenthood, over half of their health centers are in medically underserved areas. In addition, 80% of their patients live at or below the federal poverty level. What this means is Planned Parenthood provides care to those who would otherwise have nowhere else to turn for safe and affordable health care. For low-income families, they already face barriers in accessing safe health care, and this problem will only get worse if Planned Parenthood is defunded. In addition, according to Planned Parenthood, 60% of their patients rely on public health care programs provided by the government to get the care they need. So if this is removed, those who are already struggling to get by and who are already facing barriers in accessing health care will be denied the services provided by Planned Parenthood. To me, not having access to safe health care just because of your income or where you live is a terrifying concept that could become reality for millions of Americans if Planned Parenthood centers are defunded. So what can you do to help Planned Parenthood? Well, according to Miriam Berg from her article, 7 Things You Can Do to Help Planned Parenthood, written in 2016, one thing you can do is donate. You can either donate directly to Planned Parenthood or donate to their action funds. Donating to action funds will help fight political attacks and strengthen advocacy. With the threat of defunding, Planned Parenthood could use donations now more than ever, and donating will help Planned Parenthood continue to provide care to millions of Americans. However, since we are college students, I would assume that we don't really have money to be donating, so a more accessible way that you guys can help Planned Parenthood would be to donate your time through volunteering. So anybody can call or go on the Planned Parenthood website today to become a volunteer. Volunteering helps the health centers, but more importantly, it also helps volunteers become more aware of the services Planned Parenthood provides, as well as the impact it makes on the people they serve. And if anybody is interested in volunteering now or maybe sometime in the future, we do have our own Planned Parenthood Center in downtown SLO that you guys can volunteer at. Although donating your time and your money are both great ways to help Planned Parenthood, one of the easiest and biggest things you can do is to get informed. As I mentioned earlier in the speech, many of us hold misguided beliefs, including myself, based on these stereotypes. So learning more about the life-saving services that Planned Parenthood provides is essential to getting a more accurate representation of what the organization does. The information I've provided in this speech is only a fraction of the things that Planned Parenthood does, so you can go on their website to learn more, or you can sign up for their emails to always stay on top of the issues. Altogether, I hope that my speech has left you all more informed, as well as convinced you all on why Planned Parenthood should not be defunded. The well-being of millions of Americans relies on the services provided by these health centers, and we can help to keep their doors open. So whether you donate or simply just read up and learn more about Planned Parenthood, I urge you all to join many Americans and stand with Planned Parenthood.